I did, Vitair, yes. I decided to join the hordes of New Yorkers doing their morning routine as they went around Central Park. But it was wonderful waking up in New York on a sunny morning rather than the rain we had yesterday. And it was beautiful getting some fresh air this morning. But it's been wonderful being back. It's been, I think 2014 was the last time I was here in New York. I've been trying to come back for a couple of years, but with COVID and my grandmother passing away last year has not meant it able to come, so I'm thrilled to be back this time. It was a very sweaty process, Vitair, over many years, but I think to start back at the very beginning, I think it came about from a desire to see more change and to highlight wonderful people doing incredible things, as we've all seen today, across the world. I'm very lucky that I get to meet a lot of people in different circumstances, and I kept being shown these amazing things that were happening, but I just felt the impact from them wasn't being achieved, or the potential wasn't there when it could be. So I was thinking, how do we elevate? How do we scale this up? How do we allow more people to see this? And so a prize came out of sort of thinking. And it took us 18 months to 2 years to design the prize. We went through a number of other iterations where we were kind of like, do we go this way? Do we go that way? And eventually we settled on the prize. And my role in the design process was trying to convince everyone it wouldn't work. Because what I was afraid of was that if we designed the prize and I was there going, yeah, this is a great idea, I had to then sell it for 10 years. It wasn't going to be very good. So it had to be a case of me looking at it going, now hang on, how can we make this better? Is this something that has got legs? Is it credible? And will it achieve the desired outcome? And I think going through the process as we designed it, we were thinking, where else in history has there ever been something like this, where we're asking people to come together and tackle some of society's and life's greatest challenges? And that's when the moonshot sort of hit us, and we were looking through JFK's speeches and JFK's moonshot, and it struck us that this was hugely ambitious at the time. I think it took him 7 years to conduct his moonshot, and he had 400,000 engineers and scientists working on it. And some of the things that we all take for granted nowadays, like X-rays, CAT scanners, even solar panels, all came out of the moonshot development phase. So that really inspired me, and I thought, hang on, if even we get one of those to come out of 10 years worth of Earthshot, then it's worth it. Well, as we've seen today, the Earthshot winners and the finalists create that inspiration, that optimism. And I think we've got to hang on to optimism and hope, because it is the biggest driver of change. It is the biggest driver of innovation. I think if we remark on how pessimistic and doom and gloom everything is, even though there is a healthy dose of that needed to make sure we're all being kept in reality, it doesn't provoke the reaction from us humans as we would like. Yeah. And I think that's been an important part of the prize's design and development, is that not just to provide the solutions, but it's the fact to make people believe there is hope, and there are people out there doing incredible things that will have a massive impact on our futures. Yeah. The scale, that's what I've been working on quite heavily, is how do we scale all the things you're seeing today? Because over 10 years, we're going to have a lot of finalists and a lot of solutions. So if you take the optimism and hope as given, when we do the solutions and when we scale them up, how can we have the biggest change? And I think for me, that's something I haven't quite cracked yet, is how do we scale faster? I'm impatient with all this, as you well know, Vitair. And so it's kind of, I feel my role, you guys provide the product and you guys provide the inspiration and the solution. My role is to get you as big, as fast, and as scalable as possible. And I think we've still got some work to do on that. And I'm hoping in Singapore in November, we've got an Earthshot week where we've got a lot of business and backers coming. I think if I can reach more investors and people see this isn't a philanthropic thing, we're not doing this to be philanthropic, we're doing this because the vast majority of these solutions are commercially viable. I think that will help people realize and understand that this has got legs of its own, and the momentum will take it forwards. Because I think, 10 years down the line, this is the decade of change we've talked about. And 10 years down the line, when we look back, I want to make sure that we've found the right solutions, we've found the right people, but we're also maximizing their impact. And I think You know, I'm already starting to think about after 10 years what happens. And many people are already asking me that question. And I'll need a few brains in this room to help me work out what we do next. But it's, you know, I'm really pleased with the team and how we've achieved the first 3 years. It's gone better than I hoped, but there's still a lot of work to do. So I'm a big believer in a big team. I don't think any solutions in the world can ever be achieved by yourself. And one of my roles has always been to build coalitions, to build relationships, build teams. And this is no different. I'm building an enormous team of brilliant people and letting them crack on and do the work that needs to be done. So I think that's really important to kind of have the dynamism, the innovation, and the drive that you all have, and you've demonstrated in your ways. And all we're doing is providing you with a leg up to become a household name and to have the visibility to the right people. But as an example, I think for everyone here, one of the things that comes out of this is that on a collaboration level that wasn't intended but is happening is Costa Rica won in 2021. They completely off their own backs because they take this very seriously and they take pride in the environment. They reached out to another finalist called Restore, which is effectively a data company that monitors carbon sinks amongst other things. And together they're monitoring 5,000 reforestation projects in Costa Rica. So it's the first public, effectively independent public verifier of national policy on forestation. And they'll hold them to that account, they'll have the data, and they'll drive that forwards. And so these collaborations are happening without us even trying. And that's the kind of thing over the next few years, we want to see more and more of that going. But again, these things can happen with the support of the wider society around them.